This actually, I just turned on an audio recorder, so that's for two different reasons. First off, so you guys can hear the stories over and over again, and the second is in the event we actually capture an EVP. So an EVP is an electronic voice phenomenon, voices we cannot hear with the naked ear. There will be times, too, where I'm going to be using a communication device on me specifically. The recorder stays on me on my chest, so that way you guys can actually hear what I'm hearing, and I will repeat what I hear and then say rewind by 5 seconds. It's an MP3. You can scroll back and forth as many times as you want to. It's yours to keep, to do whatever you want to with. Back to this guy. This is actually recording already. So this is a thermal imaging camera. I have it set to white hot, black cold. So can everybody see me in the picture? Yeah. And everything around, like I should be orange, red, and yellow, right? Unless I'm a ghost. So,
you look like a skull.
Right? Especially with the sunglasses on. So, it's actually a good point. This camera cannot see through glass. So my glasses are a solid object, correct? So again, it does not see in 3 dimensionals the way we do. That's why we use this. It sees things a little bit differently. But everything around me should be blue and black, right? Except for that car passing behind me?
Yeah.
And that next one?
Yeah.
So let's take me out of the picture and watch what happens. You see how everything kind of fluctuated a little bit?
Yeah, the trees are still red.
Yeah, well, now they should be blue and black again. It's going to go based off of the temperatures that it senses within the screen only. Okay, so really what we're looking for here are the blue and black spots, and if they're moving. So if a blue spot turns darker blue and gets closer to black, and all of a sudden it starts moving intelligently. Now you can't see it from there, but it's going to help us find those 3-dimensional pieces using white lines. If it senses something as an actual object because of the different heat signatures from the next item to the next, it's going to put a white line around it. So let's say we actually have a blue spot or a black spot moving, it's probably going to put a white line around that orb or cold spot as it moves along. Does that make sense to everybody? It's going to kind of help us identify some of those things. So just in order for you to understand your people better, we're going to hand that off to you. Now, you're going to keep that horizontal all night long. Do you see the red square on the left-hand side of your screen?
Yeah.
If it turns to a circle, just hit it again, and I have to splice 2 videos together for you, and please let me know. Some people don't let me know that they made me 30 videos, and it takes me a long time to splice all that stuff. So, but you're going to be in charge of that. Now, there's going to be some things, because that is a small screen. I do upload that to YouTube, then back to my website, but I watch it on my TV before I send it off to you guys. So that way I can see every small detail. Again, you're going to miss stuff. I really just need you to be a camera person all night. Okay. So that's what you're going to be doing. All right. So let's get my...
Good responsibility to give to her.
Well, it also records audio. So it's another point of EVP reference. So in case we actually capture something extra or you and I get separated, we have 2 points of reference. So yes, we're going to hear your entire conversation all night long. Let's keep it clean.
Better not say anything bad.
Exactly right. Have to be in our best behavior.
All right. So you guys watch ghost hunting shows? Yes?
A few times.
Yeah.
Okay, so you probably recognized one of these before?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so this is an electromagnetic field meter. What will this detect? This one is pretty sensitive. It's the same one that they use on a TV shows for this exact reason. It will detect 3 different types of EMFs. The first one is natural, comes from the earth. That's why it's green. The second one is going to come from electronic devices or man-made objects, wiring, cell phones, those kind of things. It's going to give us a pulse. We don't want a pulse either. We want it to go a little nuts, because that's something I can't explain. So that means it's something from another realm, hopefully of some sort, and hopefully there's another device reacting in the same way. So this usually goes to my skeptic, because it's usually my most active item. You see why I ask these questions? So again, it doesn't make any noise, so at any point that it actually acts up, you need to kind of speak up, and then you and I will determine if it's in a rhythmic pattern or not. I am not going to make stuff up for you guys. This is true life work for me. So again, I don't want false positives. I'm not going to give you false positives. And I will tell you and debunk things right off the top, sometimes before we even get to a location, like, hey, the parking meters are going to make that go off on East Bay Street. Pay it no attention whatsoever.
It's also good. It probably looks like it could take the brunt of the sidewalk, so I could probably break this thing, and it'll be okay.
In case you drop it.
I should have gave him something different. I should have given him a
Rubber case.
You got a security deposit, right?
I am insured, no worries. All right. So I talked about different ways of communicating, right?
Yeah.
This is a spirit box. A spirit box is basically a radio sweeper. So think of your police scanners where you turn the dial manually until you find the right station. This is going to do that automatically for us. It's It's going to record the entire session for us. So even when it's on mute, it will be recording at a nice even level. It does not record any of us, only the radio sweeps. So what are we actually listening for on this? If you've watched your ghost hunting shows, it's that very quick staticky of annoying noise that they play, and then they put up on the screen what they think they heard, and you're like, oh, I did hear Mary Beth's baby, or whatever it was that you heard. So, sorry, first thing that popped in my head. But that's what they kind of do with this. With this, they have it set so fast that it will only pick up disembodied voices for the TV show, for the ratings. However, y'all are amateurs. I have it slowed down, so we're gonna hear radio chatter. I want to know what that radio chatter says. So you're gonna hear commercials, DJs, song lyrics, and disembodied voices. So again, if you can make something out, it makes sense that we were probably meant to know what it was. We might not know what the answer was to it, or with the question that we asked, it might not be a direct answer, but it might come through again later. It might come through as a collective. So if you get the word horses, and I get the word carriage, we know that we're probably near the red barn lot because of the carriage rides. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So you might have said, hey, what's your name? And it said horses. I get carriage, and it's like, it doesn't want to tell us what its name is. It wants to tell us about the horses for the carriage rides. So I'm going to turn this on and get it set to record for you guys.
Xbox. Danny. FM.
And I'll play a little bit of it just so you guys can see how the slower mode is versus the TV shows. So, port.
I heard port.
So again, it's going pretty slow. All you'll need to know is the turnstile button right here. It turns it up and down. And what's nice about it is you control the volume. I have another one where the volume isn't controlled, and I have to tell people, like, that one needs to stay off. So even right now, it is recording, even though we can't hear it, which is wonderful. Alright, what else do I have here? Carlos, you seem like a responsible man.
Oh, why is that?
Yeah, give everybody else the expensive stuff. I'm telling you, man. I look like I've got the
Believe it or not, that's probably one of the most expensive pieces in this whole lot.
first mistake, right there.
So I'm putting together the neuralizer for Men in Black. Nobody got that joke?
Yes.
You all need to stare right here as soon as I'm done. It's actually a grid pen.
Oh.
Okay, so what does this guy do? Let's go ahead and keep that down for a minute, just so I don't have to scream. Alright, so it's obviously lasers. That's why I say you look like a responsible adult. I think I can take the sunglasses off now. I have epilepsy and sunlight kills my eyes. Just so you guys know, I can't see. So with this, you can obviously see the lasers when something walks through it. Okay, so really what we're looking for is it's going to be out of the corner of the peripheral vision of your eye. So everybody kind of stare off at my forehead for a second. And it's not really dark enough, but can you guys see that? Where it's actually kind of just out of the peripheral of your eye. Now, not a great super active item, but when we catch something, it is super exciting because that usually means 2 or 3 other devices are telling us something too. So that one actually goes to you. You also look extra responsible, so you're going to actually have 2 of those. Now the way we use those, so I'll give you a fair bit of warning. The way we use these is literally straight down and then out and about 5 feet in front of you. You're not going to be staring at the dots, obviously. That's about as far as you'll go. Now this guy actually gives us squares. So why do I use squares? So let's say the camera or my phone with a regular camera actually captures something in there. I now have it in squares and I can put that picture inside 3D software and you guys will have a 3D view of the entire apparition that we caught. This is relatively new. I haven't caught anything with it yet, but again, I've been handing both of those off. So lasers in the city of Charleston will get me a $5,000 fine and probably a week in jail. So very responsible.
He's really trusting you.
So I don't want to point these at helicopters.
No, definitely not. Alright, who do we have left?
But
Your mama.
then at the same time, you really didn't do anything. Yeah, he did it.
Well, he
True,
can still.
I'm responsible for it. It is my tour.
He'll be your witness at the court here.
Okay. What do you do for a living?
I'm a general contractor, but I've got good attorneys.
Okay.
We can find a way to pin it up.
I don't. You can call my ex-wife. She'll tell me my attorneys that I've been through are absolutely horrible. All right. Simple camera, point and shoot.
Okay.
The rule of thumb is none of y'all can be in the picture. none of you signed legal waivers. Speaking of legalities, there are certain places, and it does not have a flash on purpose. So the flash is set to off because I don't want any false positives. If you take a picture of this building, I don't want to have to analyze the flash that comes off the window. Does that make sense to everybody? I want legitimate, even if it's a dark window, I can brighten it up enough to be able to take a look at it. Also keep in mind too, Friday night, Charleston. My wife designs everything for Stories in a Cemetery, the logos, and sometimes she works on, you know, the pictures we actually capture. So if we capture shadow people and orb, like I send it over to her to debunk it. That's what her degrees are in. Mine are in English and books and nerddom. She's all about nerddom. I'm all about my books. So she's the one who gets the pictures. So taking pictures of the grids is a great starting point because at times, and you have to be super still when you take those pictures because there is no flash, which means the shutter speed is slower. So it's going to take like a split second longer than you would normally expect. So taking pictures of those, sometimes we'll actually see something inside the grid that we can't see like on the ground, like something might be moving. There might be a couple of swirls in some of those dots and the rest of them are perfectly still. Then I kind of have to analyze the rest of the video to see if it caught up with anything as well. So just so you guys know, with the thermal imaging camera, I will debunk things as they come up. So, name again.
Catherine.
Told you I'm horrible with names. So Catherine is standing where I am and she says, Nick, there's a blue spot on the wall. And I can't figure out what it is. It's about 10 degrees colder. And everything else is red, yellow, and orange. So I actually have an infrared, so I will scan the whole wall. If the whole wall is the same temperature, I now know that that blue cold spot is between Catherine and the wall. So I also have an ambient temperature gauge, so I can go slowly between her and the wall and find out where that cold spot is and kind of see what's actually happening. Again, I'm not going to make stuff up. So, a couple of things before we move on. COVID stuff. I did ask all of you to bring masks with you. I have one in my pocket. Told you all I have epilepsy. It's difficult for me to actually wear one for more than 10 minutes at a time. If I have to get close to you with your device, I will mask up for a few minutes, but don't expect me to stand there long. There'll be very popular areas that we go to tonight. Some of them not so popular. I normally don't care. You guys are all family, obviously. But those more populated areas, you'll see one hanging from my ear really close in case I hit a popular area. I will mask up for that short period of time. I will say masks up for all of you at that point. So it's up to you what you guys want to do, but they are fining people $100 tickets without warning. I've yet to see it since the mayor proclaimed that a few weeks ago. I've heard one story where a tour guide actually got ticketed. And that was the same day that the mayor announced it. So, what else? Oh, all of your gadgets actually have been disinfected with store-bought wipes. They are not generic anything, so we don't spare any expense on your health. And if anybody's masks do break, I do have spares, and I have hand sanitizer in case anybody needs it. So, all of those disclaimers, I hate talking about them, but welcome to 2020. Hopefully it's almost over. You guys missed the full moon, by the way, speaking of October.
We didn't miss it yesterday.
Well, you missed the tour.
Yeah. Well, the energy's still around.
It is. So it probably will be for another good 3 to 5 days, which is cool because normally the weekends, I'll be honest, paranormal activity usually slows down. My spirits, when I'm out there, they see all the hustle and bustle and they just kind of, okay, we're going to chill. We're going to give you a little bit. We're not going to give you what
That's
we
probably
normally give
how
on
I'll be
Tuesday.
as a ghost.
Not me, man. I'm going to be haunting that ex-wife every day. So, I use a couple of gadgets on my phone. So, again, I want everybody to kind of keep in mind, too, that you guys are all holding electronic devices. There's no Ouija boards, no dowsing rods, no tarot cards, no manual items. And again, I don't put my feelings into anything. This is all about the data. I am a true believer that no matter what the apps or whatever device it is, it's an electronic item, the spirit world can manipulate it. That's why you are all holding electronic devices. So I do have an EMF on my phone just in case yours dies because the battery drained. It does happen. Not often, but it does. So I do have a backup one in case we need it in a pinch. I do use 2 different spirit boxes on my phone. So the spirit boxes, this one in particular, will give us a word here in the center. So as you can see, like it's just got 3 dots there right now, and it will save it to a list. Now this is last night's list. They actually had 76 entries. The average for a 90-minute, ghost hunt is about 50 to 60 words. Here's what I'll tell you about this app. 80% of it is bullshit. Okay? It doesn't mean anything. I'll be flat out honest with you. It's the other 15 to 20%. That's what means something. Mm-hmm. And we will probably tie it to where we are, what's happening with us. Sometimes it's a directional piece. If, for example, somebody lights up a cigarette, it might say the word smoke. Does that make sense? So it's kind of like telling us, like, hey, we're here, we see you, but it's also going to say, hey, look left, or things like that. So it just depends. It could be something that's happening with me. We're going to be traffic central. I pulled you guys off East Space Street.
What's
So
going on with
if anybody
everybody
wants to see what's
coming?
going on with Stories in the Cemetery, that's what's going on. So, but anyway, I will point out what's going on with this guy, and I will try to make something out of every single word as in live time. But tomorrow morning, when you see your full list, the only things that I'll highlight for you are the things I can verify and send a link to you to verify that information. So if we find a name of a football player's teammate, or I will give you the roster link. Like, go check this out, Skippy's right here, so forth and so on. I already got the word curious. So. The other one that I use is called a reverse spirit box. So what is a reverse spirit box? I debunked this one already too. It is simply a man and a woman saying a bunch of words, and then they reverse the audio. So it sounds like it's coming through backwards. They claim that it was supposed to be an FM radio station, like an FM sweep, kind of like yours, but being played backwards. I'm like, I don't hear any songs, I don't hear any normal whatever. So I decided I have enough software to analyze all those EVPs, so I put it in, reversed it, and it's literally a man and a woman saying words in forward motion, and they flip the audio backwards. So, why do I use this still? Because I get some very strong stuff out of this. I use this as my communication piece, and if this traffic doesn't stop, you guys are not going to be able to hear any of this. But this is what you're going to hear on your audio, is my communication, and this is a way for them to speak back to me. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it up so you guys can get a gist of what it sounds like. Got kind of the gist.
Catherine, it's kind of like, remember Purple Rain, we were spinning the record backwards?
Yes, same principle. Same principle. It wasn't Purple Rain, no, I'm sure it was Pink Floyd.
It was Prince. What album was it?
Probably Purple Rain.
So here's the reason why I use this particular app. A couple weeks ago, I caught an EVP. I was talking about a woman from England, and I had no idea what this meant, but it came out clear as day, and then one of my guests told me, yeah, that's a thing. And it'll all make sense once I play it for you. I'll explain in a minute. Catch that?
Baked beans are good.
Alright, so here's what happened. That spirit box told me, I'll fix you. And then I got baked beans breakfast. And then we had the word tea on the word list that I was showing you guys earlier. Put that together as a sentence. I'll fix you baked beans breakfast and tea. I was talking about a woman from England. Baked beans for breakfast are a thing. Obviously they don't do coffee, they do tea.
They do tea.
That was all within a 2.5 minute time frame together. See how I have to put all this stuff together in the morning? Again, this is no bullshit. Like, I was like floored, like, baked beans breakfast. Somebody tell me what this means. Like, and somebody came over and like, that's a thing over in the UK. Makes sense because of where we were. So again, the word beans ever since then has shown up at least once every other night.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. So I keep asking that particular person, are you going to fix me breakfast? Like, what's going on here?
A
It's 9
full
o'clock at night.
English breakfast includes kidneys and beans.
See you.
Kidneys and beans, she said.
Bless you.
Bless you. Give me some beans.
So, see, what is going on with this street? I started over here because it's supposed to be dead.
Old Pinky, man. This is
Hustling.
like
There's a
a
lot
good
of
old
people
cut
here.
through.
Alright, so let me get these going. Guys, we started here for a reason. How long have you guys lived here?
9 years.
9 years. So,
10 years.
9 years.
so, do you know about Big John's?
Yeah, but I don't really know the full thing.
Okay. So,
Bras and everything.
yeah, the
That's
bras
what he
hanging from the
knows.
ceiling. That's
Dollar
what
bills.
signatures.
Yeah.
So Big John's was named after a football player, John Kennedy, played for the 1947 New York Giants. I'm not a sports guy. I had to memorize all of this. I'm not a streamer, guys. I'm going to sound like a drill sergeant all night, I swear. So anyway, he used to sit in the back of the bar, and the cadets would come over from the Citadel to have a few drinks.
Right.
And one night, 2 guys came over, and Big John told the bartender, these guys aren't old enough. Get them out of here. So they got pissed off. They left. They come back the next night, and they steal the cash register from the front of the bar. Big John pulls out his .45, shoots, kills, and the bullet hole is still in the front of the building. So the bullet's not there, just a bullet hole. Now, it is said, at times, people that sit in the front of this bar will not feel well. Dizzy, headache, queasy, those kind of things. I bring this up on purpose, because I don't know how paranormal activity is going to affect any of you. I know it's going to affect me.
Are we going to go to that bar?
We're
You're
right
already
here.
here.
We're right here.
You just missed a drink.
This is it.
No, I'm kidding.
What?
Yeah, right where we're standing.
It's Big John's Tavern.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, be darned.
So, again, if one of you is not feeling well, even the slightest headache, please let me know. We will either move on, kind of gauge where you are with things. I've had people pass out from this tour. It doesn't end well. I don't say that to scare you. Obviously, I'm not a scary guy, and I don't make this out to be a scary tour. This is all about the paranormal activity we're going to capture. He's grinning. He's like, yeah, right. He'll be the one with the headache. Watch. The first time somebody dropped like a wet noodle on me, I was in CPR class the next day and promised myself I never want to use this, but in case it does happen, I've had witches look at me and say, no, I'm not going any further. Like, just, they're out. So, again, it's that important to me. Safety first at all times. I need to know. And if I actually say we need to go now. Because that's an epilepsy thing. No triggering, messing around with my head. Like, we need to go.
Gotcha.
Again, I don't put my feelings into it unless it's going to put somebody else in danger. Is that fair?
Yes.
All right. So the other piece that actually came out of Big John's is we had an earthquake in 1886. Right? So this building apparently is where the first death occurred. There was a piece of the building that fell off, hit somebody, struck them in the head, and there goes said to be seen on East Bay Street. However, I don't have any proof of that. I just know that Paul, the owner of Cane Rum Bar, at times said that he would see weird shadows going across the street, and he suspected that it was from that death from the big earthquake in 1886. So, you guys ready to go ghost hunting?
Yes.
Where's the bullet hole?
Apparently it's in the wall, like not on. And don't set off any alarms for that. So apparently it is the other side, like there's a window over there on the other side of the door. Apparently it's underneath there.
Those places closed now?
What did you
Yeah.
say about glass? Like it doesn't go through?
It will not see through glass
Okay.
because glass is an object and it does not see in three-dimensional. So as it is looking, it's going to basically look at a pane of glass as just a temperature. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
all it's going to be. All right. Let's go this way.
All right. Is that your? Oh no, that's your thing.
Certain cars are sensitive to that laser, just so you know. They will set off their alarm.
It will set
It's
off
happened to me
alarm.
twice.
Oh well.
The cars, the alarms, the laser.
All right.
Just make sure it's some dude with like a horse or something like that. They deserve it.
All right, we got all these? Yeah. It's a small group. I'm like looking around for more people. So a couple things right here, guys. The Crew Cafe is allegedly haunted. When I was poking around building this tour, we stopped in there, me and my silent partner for the business, and he basically said that there's supposedly you already got some clips, that's good. I'll show you how to read that in a minute. There was a suicide that happened there, and he went and go and talked to them. I did walk around with the EMF. I did get some clips upstairs. I could probably debunk it if I spent a full, investigation time there. I just haven't had time to do it because thank you, COVID. And I also don't know what's going on with that building. Excuse me, I'm talking too fast. And because that used to be a slave home, so I don't know if that's a rebuild, reconstruct, or whatever is going on with that building. It's way too big for it to been a slave home at any point in time. So again, until I actually find some research on it, I don't know that I'll be pursuing it, but it is what it is. For you history buffs, right past Crew Cafe, there's a stop sign, and the peninsula of Charleston would have been much skinnier during Revolutionary War times. So with that being said, ship rolls up, shoots a cannon, lands right at that stop sign. That's no tragedies, no paranormal activity, just one of those cool little history tips that I found through Mark Jones's website, because he does like a This Day in History. He's another local author. And I was like, oh, that's along my tour. I'm going to show that off. So, very cool stuff. So where are you standing now? This is what I call the red barn lot. So this is the barn where they keep the horses for the carriage rides. Okay? The horses do not like loud noise, nor do they like my lasers.
They're very sensitive.
They are.
Most animals are.
What's that?
Most animals are.
Most of them.
Like
However, my
dogs.
dogs love to chase the green lights.
I bet my cat would too.
Yeah.
I would probably 75 to 100 lights on that thing. Yeah. You have a whole herd of cats. So we definitely want to keep the lasers out of all windows of that building. Again, keep them straight down. And that device is actually meant to be set up into a room and then set up with a camera and left alone. So the more still you are with it, the better you're going to be with both of them. So it's literally like kind of set them out in front of you and walk Frankenstein style, real slow. This is also the same red barn that held the horses that delivered milk to Charleston. So again, that kind of dates it for you, 1860s to 1920s, roughly. So that's all the history there is here. This is literally a good practice zone for all of you. So this is where I get to kind of bounce around with all of you guys and kind of answer any questions that you have specifically about your devices, help you out with it, show you what I would do with it specifically on an investigation, and see what we can actually capture. So don't worry about that silver little car over there. It's not sensitive to lasers. So just so you know. Did I hide my car back here tonight? I did. There's no parking anywhere. So hopefully
Yeah,
nobody...
tell us about it.
Well, I've never parked back here. Like, never. So hopefully, like, I've asked around, like, hey, is it cool if I park back here? And some of these guys and all the other tour guides, they're like, yeah, we go back there every once in a while. Normally I park right here on Pinckney, you know, because the meters are free after 6. And that's usually a nice, good spot for me to go. So hopefully nobody tours me tonight. Now that I'm on audio and I just proved myself up right.
He'll have the lawyers delete that.
I know, right?
Strike that from the evidence.
Pull some dumpster, pull these garbage cans out in front of you.
So what else do we have going on? You're going to give me a nice slow read all the way around the parking lot. You have a million different types of material here. You have metal, asphalt, you have brick, wood, obviously the silver pretty car. The EMF is going to vary. So again, we're looking for rhythms. And if you actually get that thing to go up into the red, you probably need to be into a dead stop so we can get a spirit box near you and find out what's going on. Now again, when you go to a red spot, or find a red spot, it might not stay there. The spirit's not going to hang out with you and just say, hey, here I am. That's kind of how that goes. They might go all the way back down the green, and you got to hunt them down again. Lasers, we talked about how you use yours. Camera, probably take as many pictures as you want to in here. Just try to keep that ugly vehicle. So you know which one's mine. That's a little silver one on the left. And obviously now that you can get it, if you actually capture something, and I caught a lot of orbs here.
Like, what do you mean capture something?
So let's say we actually have a weird anomaly of like a white, what I call an orb or a bubble almost, and there's different colors of those orbs. If I capture one of those things in there or a weird shadow that we don't know what it is, that's when it goes over to my wife for her to analyze. So let's say you're taking pictures of, like, say, the corners where all the foliage is and the lighting just doesn't seem right, or you captured something out of the glimmer of your eye with your laser, you know to start taking pictures in that area to kind of see what's actually happening.
So it's kind of like multiple things are happening, and then we come in.
Right.
Put it
You
all
guys are
together.
all kind of you're not
team.
always going to stay together. You're going to split up in an area like this. Your spirit box, for example, like you're literally going to be walking around. Let's talk about spirit boxes for a second on how, like, TV shows are going to, hey, is somebody here? What's your name? Why did you kill this person? Like, they're rattling questions off like crazy. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to stay away from yes or no questions. S's and O's in the phonetic language, too common. We want something specific. Let's stay easy because it's the first time you've ever used one. What color is the red barn? What's inside the barn? But you're going to ask the same question once.
Oh, so I'm asking a question.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I just didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. You're
Tell me
going to
that.
be, you're the
Did
talker.
you know that?
No.
Oh, okay.
You were the
I
talker.
thought you were supposed to be recording.
She is recording.
But I'm talking.
But I
Okay,
mean,
so I'm asking
you're
questions
asking
about the red
questions.
barn.
And you're also, you can ask
Oh,
what's
see, I
inside the
didn't know
barn.
that.
But
Okay.
you want
And
to
who
stay
do you
away from
ask?
those yes or no questions.
No,
these
the
things?
spirits.
Oh, the spirits.
Yeah, they're going to talk to us through that.
Got it.
So, again, same question once every 30 seconds. If you don't get an answer after 2 or 3 tries, I mean, this person, whoever's here, is going to be, or whoever the multiple of them are, is going to be around us. They can hear you. They're not inside the box. You don't need to hold it to your mouth. It's literally like, hey, all right, I'm going to move on to another question now.
Okay.
Can you tell me what's inside the barn then? What type of animal? You know, and try to get an answer out of it. Keep it audible to you. Horses don't like too much
Oh,
noise.
cool. I didn't know I was doing that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're all about that. You're looking for different temperatures.
She's good at asking questions.
Yes, she is.
And what do you do for a
I'm a
living? Are you the
counselor.
lawyer?
I'm a counselor.
She knows the right questions to ask.
Is the Crew
Hopefully.
Cafe any good since Travers Horton left? A friend of mine was like the head chef there for like 20 years.
We had lunch there, remember,
Oh, it's
Mom?
right.
hey,
It's
hey,
red.
man, that's going crazy red when I said
Yeah,
that.
it was.
It was.
It went to the furthest red that
Second
we
red. It was 2 reds.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna kind of
Is that
set you
negative?
guys free and kind of see where things are going. Like, you need to really be watching where his red spots are, so you're almost like following him
Okay.
around looking for those hot spots.
House.
So, let's see if we can actually, what we can find.
Maybe we should scan. So, like, I see blue spots, but this is just the air conditioning in that building.
So you said it, you see blue?
Well, I'm looking for cold spots on my thermal thing. And then you're looking for disturbances in your
Try to keep it 5
grid.
feet. We don't want it to go too far. There you go. And you can use them that way, like crossing the streams, but honestly, you want when you're literally 5 feet in front of you, one in each hand. There you go. You got it.
That's making it easy.
That's why you don't stare at the dots. You look for that peripheral.
Yeah.
That's why he can kind of keep them on as long as he keeps track of how far out they're going.
I'm not picking up any kind of weird thermal things.
Nice and slow on that. So here's what I'll tell you about the thermal imaging. The camera technology in our cell phones, it does not match. Our cell phones are good.
Okay, that's enough.
It's a horse bigger.
I said, tell us what happened to my
Okay.
Maybe he didn't like the laser.
Maybe
I
he
don't
could
think you
feel
went in
it.
there.
But you, thought he was gonna come out with a robot.
The slower you go with that thermal imaging, that way it doesn't pixelate like an old style camera would. You're really just
Oh, look at that.
Well, that's just the air from the inside there.
Okay. Bullshit.
yeah. So like that sudden movement you just did across, way too fast.
Yeah.
So really just nice slow pans all the way across. The thermal technology in the camera is really what it's after. I don't know. Have you used one of those, or have you just watched your contractors?
I've just watched them for sure. I don't have any fancy equipment.
Well, it doesn't mean you can't take a hold of it and say, what am I looking for here?
Yeah.
This is my house I'm trying to sell.
Well, I'm looking for, when we're doing it in real estate, we're looking for moisture. But what I'm looking for here is like weird human-shaped blob thingies. Right?
Not necessarily. It can be, so there's a couple of different things that I look for when I'm watching this. I tell you all to focus on blue and black. That's obvious because it's cold. But it also, if you're holding it still just like that and all of a sudden this area right here starts growing in heat.
Oh, and heat. Okay.
That's thermodynamics in reverse. So that means that there's a cold spot developing nearby. That is still enough proof, especially if it goes up by 10, 12 degrees in a matter of seconds,
Okay.
that a cold spot is generating somewhere else. Temperature can't be generated or destroyed. So it has to go somewhere. It has to balance. So if we have heat growing here, cold is going down here. Does that make sense now?
Yeah.
So I'm looking for a number of things when I'm watching your guys' videos. It's a matter of, okay, where's the nice slow movements where I can pay attention and not watch all the colors fluctuate based on what's in the screen. That's why I say nice slow movements, even when you kind of get just an itch to stay still for 5-10 seconds to kind of watch how everything fluctuates within the air, because your hand isn't going to be perfectly still either. It's definitely not on a tripod. So even for that, like what we're doing right now, I should be somewhat in the picture. Am I even in that picture?
No, but
Okay.
you are now.
Well, at any rate, I try to keep a person in the picture. That's a point of reference because we know that a person is definitely supposed to be warm.
Right.
So, but again, if there's something developing... Sorry, I'm watching the green dots. Only because I've had a lot happen up in that area.
Oh, yeah?
It's usually not good.
Oh, really?
So I don't put that out there. I just kind of wait and see if they'll go away on their own. Good. Because if it was going to...
Interesting.
I want you to look what's on my screen.
Oh, wow.
Where is he?
Right there.
Hey, Mason?
Maybe hard reds.
Your name popped up.
This is the lobster roll place down the street.
That's funny.
There's a lot going on with church and religion here, too. You guys religious?
No, not
Somewhat.
us.
No, probably more.
My mom
more
is
so in the
probably the
last
most-
3 months than I was the last
My
3
mom's
years.
probably the most religious one here. What did that say? We did go to 5 Church for dinner, though.
Yeah, but this is more of a, like, it gave me faith, actually, church, life, and then your name. So you kind of, like...
Do you hear that?
What?
Say it again.
So Mason's name came up on my box, but before that, I got faith, actually, church, and then life.
Oh, wow.
So, again, a lot of times, it's not always a consecutive thing like that. But when there's a theme within 5 words, I'm kind of like, okay, maybe something is going on here. It could be the BS that I was talking about, part of the 80%. It's perfectly fine. So let's see what pops up later, and if something else comes up, got the word received. So maybe they were trying to find out if you were a religious person or not.
Maybe they heard
just
you
told
say
me.
you were a skeptic.
And now it is well received.
My business partner is very religious.
Okay.
Who is that, James?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that. Really?
He's rubbing some good juju off on me.
Well, that's good.
Okay. Again, just questions. And your name popping up could be a completely random thing. I don't think it is, because it's not a name I see often. Nor is it one that I hear often.
Yeah.
We'll see what comes up out of it.
What's that? Now, it smells like horse shit in here. Do you agree?
That's funny. Oh, it does. Oh, wow. I just got
Have you gotten anything in the thermal?
Well,
No.
yeah, it does. That's why I put my mask on.
Anything out of the lasers up in
No,
that
I
corner?
haven't seen it.
No.
Not exciting. Exciting. Give you guys a few more minutes to kind of wrap up. I'm going to turn up my reverse spirit box and walk away and kind of see what comes up out of that, since we did get Mason's name, and see if something else pops up out of that.
Cool.
I'm going to learn a lot about Mason tonight, I think.
That's funny.
What is he doing? What is this joker about Mason's name come up?
So the spirit box catches... I just smoke right there. Do you see that?
Yeah. Wow.
That was weird.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, it's right over there.
Yeah, no. Maybe he's doing a
Maybe the horse is farted.
electronic... No, I think it might be an electronic cigarette or something. Like, there's a ghost. He said that Mason's name popped up on the spirit box, so...
Mason's name? Is it
Yes.
Mason's thing?
That's what we were saying. But he said right before that it was faith, church, and something else.
Oh.
And then Mason's name.
Oh.
I said, well, we did go to 5 Church for dinner.
Yeah, we did.
With Mason.
Now, what is Carlos supposed to find me back here?
So he's supposed to point the lasers at places, and if there's like a disturbance in the light, that's what he's looking for.
Oh. Look at right there, Carlos. They're kind of dancing around. Yeah, there. See at the root of the tree.
Look at the lights here.
Oh my goodness.
It's fun.
Uh-oh.
He's disturbing our ghost hunting.
Yes. Yeah. Get that fuck out of here.
They're probably like, what are you weirdos doing?
Oh yeah.
All right, let's group everybody up and kind
Yeah, see, I kind of sense some.
Alright, did we hear anything out of your spirit box?
No, like I said, just I thought I heard goat, but I don't know.
I did hear that's not what I need. So, and then I heard the word next after that. So on your audio, whenever I hear something again, I'll say what I thought I heard because it's live time, and then I'll say rewind by 5 seconds, so that way you guys can verify it either way.
Okay.
Mason's name did come up, just so everybody knows. There was a bunch of religious terms before that. So I don't know that it means anything, but you guys did eat at 5 Church. You guys made a very good point. So,
And
again,
Mason's lobster roll is next door.
That's right.
So what do you guys say we go learn some history? Does everybody have a good gist on what their devices do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, good deal. Let's go learn some good stuff now.
All right. Mom. Jeez.
We're doing a ghost tour. We're finding some ghosts.
Gonna make some great audio. Let's worry about them. Their heels.
The vans, man. I didn't want the vans during the pandemic. I didn't want to put blocks in the good.
I had to go buy some new shoes today. I couldn't take any more soleless tennis shoes. I had to get something a little thicker.
Yeah, you gotta reassimilate.
Yeah. All right. So, I promise this will not be parking lots all night long. So, we are standing in the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion site. So, who the heck were Charles and Eliza Pinckney? They had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. They were signers of our Constitution. So it's a pretty big deal for Charleston. I don't know any other ghost tour that actually cuts through here because obviously there's nothing to see. It's a parking lot. So we're going to investigate it, and I'm going to give you a little bit more background on Eliza because she comes up quite often. If I had a grand finale, folks, this would be it. I see that at a peripheral vision of my eye. So, got a lot of red already. Eliza married Charles to stay here in the United States. She's the one from England, baked beans breakfast, if you guys remember that.
Oh.
Okay, so this is where that all occurred. She stayed here when she became a U.S. citizen. Dad thought he was dying over in England, and she didn't want to go home, so that's why she got married. So Dad got better, the two made amends, and then Dad started sending her normal gifts over from England. One of those gifts happened to be the plant indigo. You guys have been driving around town, you guys are from here, you guys know indigo is a pretty big deal for us. So what the heck is indigo? It's a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. We still use it today. So it's a pretty big deal. Yeah. So it actually became a huge cash crop after the rice plantations went downhill. And then they had to move the cash crop over to Snee Farm in Mount Pleasant. So I don't know where y'all live at.
No.
But
Yeah.
I know you live in Mount Pleasant.
Close.
So again, there's also the Charles Pinckney Museum over there as well. So that would be the reason why, because they owned that land as well. Not only did they have this huge cash crop here, but we're talking colonial times. There was no such thing as a businesswoman. Eliza was the woman who sold this plant overseas to all of the leaders and made it a huge cash crop that we have today. So again, huge accomplishment, and it's one of very many. There are many, many books written about this woman. The reason why I only give you this much is because that's the kind of data we're going to be looking for within the gadgets. There's a couple of things I'm going to ask, you're going to ask, and I'm going to ask on my spirit box. If anybody wants to hang out with me, you can. Anybody wants to hang out with, I'm sorry, names?
Come on, you can do it.
Your name.
Cindy. I know, I was waiting for him to get it. Cindy.
You know, in my head, I'm seeing the spelling of it. And it says CINDE.
CINDE.
Oh, I noticed on your ticket.
Did I put it right?
You
No.
put it.
I mean, put it wrong.
M.
That's probably
Instead
why.
I
of-
can't see shit, so
But she does. It is spelled odd for Cindy. It's with an E
yeah,
instead of a
it's little
Y.
different. It's
Yeah,
okay.
so my text message kept underlining your name. And I'm like, it's right.
It does anyway, even with the right spelling. That's okay.
Regardless. So, Cindy. I thought I had it, but I didn't want to
okay.
say Cindy and be wrong. So, I'm like, Cindy.
That would be kind of weird.
Hate when I misspell my own name.
Can't spell it right. It's alright. People forget the K off of Nick all the time, and I don't understand why. Or they forget the H in Nicholas. I don't understand that one either.
No.
So, at any rate, a couple things we can ask Miss Eliza. We can ask her how she died, where she died, how old she was, how many kids she had. I will give you that she had one daughter, and you know she had at least one son named Charles. But there are more children than that, so try to find out what that number is. But the daughter's name, also try to find out.
Okay.
Now, Eliza was the second wife named Eliza, back to back from Charles.
Oh, wow.
Right? So
He knows what
she
he
goes
likes.
by her maiden name, Eliza blank Pinkney. So try to find out what that maiden name is. That's another great question.
It's
Yeah.
not Doolittle.
What's that?
Sorry.
Are you giving away my
No.
answers? You are. You can also ask what happened to the mansion. So that's a pretty easy one to come up
I'm
with.
getting a lot of hot red.
She probably didn't like I said Doolittle.
Yeah, you got a lot of red.
No.
I mean, as we're so basically, I mean, this picks up on different electronic frequencies, correct? So red being when it goes to red, what frequency will we be?
It's not separating them at all.
Okay.
It's all together. So I will tell you that this lot has let me down. I've been doing this over a year now. It has only let me down twice, where I walked through here and I had absolutely no EMF. I've had tours where somebody was starting asking a little bit too personal questions to Eliza, and all activity shut down.
Ooh.
Those
So-
aren't personal, what you said, though. Those
No,
are not considered.
she wants to talk about this kind. Those
Okay.
are good parts of her life.
Okay.
Not necessarily how she died, but
Yeah.
talking about her kids.
Yeah.
You know, what happened
Okay.
to the mansion. I mean, they still prospered with their crops. So I mean, she was okay. She was sad about the home, obviously because she hangs out here. But
Yeah.
again, there's certain things like relationship statuses with Charles. Like we don't need to know those things. Like it's happened in the past where literally
Okay.
all activity just stops.
Oh, wow.
Literally, EMF included.
Okay.
And again, I've walked through here where there's been no EMF whatsoever, no communication on any device. I want you all to also keep in mind there are many ways to communicate that we have. We have 2 spirit boxes from me, 1 from you, my audio, and where's the other audio? Your audio. So we have, I can ask a question and the answer can go to any one of those things. So a lot of times, because I
Gotcha.
gave you certain questions, I might ask something silly like, what color are so-and-so shoes? I know I'm listening for black or blue or whatever color I'm listening for, but it could go to you and you could turn around and say, what is blue? I heard
Okay,
blue.
gotcha.
Does that make sense? So I do that on purpose to prove the validity of what we're actually doing here.
Okay.
Now, your EMF probably going to go crazy through this whole place, and it's going to be in random spots. So again, the two of you kind of need to watch each other. The light's not blinking tonight, so it is kind of in a pulse. So there's a light on the back of 5 Church Street where it will pulse sometimes like a disco ball. Other nights it just stays on, and it usually goes in sync with whatever the EMF is doing. So right now we have a little bit of a blinker, but I'm not seeing anything where like we could probably test it against there. Nice slow sweeps with your thermal imaging, just like normal. You're just going to walk around in laps and kind of see what you see. No pictures in here. I'm sorry. Too many cars.
Eliza, right?
Yes, Eliza. Always direct her first. Hey, Eliza, tell me this. Lasers, again, 5 feet. You can go on a little far. So just try to keep it within 5 feet. You don't want to waste too much attention. Lasers do need to stay below the walls of the parking lot. So I'll kind of do my own thing here, and I'll kind of want to see where you guys go so I know which portion of the lot I'm going to go to. So I'm going to set you guys free, or anybody that wants to hang out with me in my spirit box, you're more than welcome to. But me and Cindy, I'll call her Cindy all night now. Cindy. Wrong. Rewind by 5 seconds. Voter. So here's the other thing that'll happen in this lot. And I'm getting this because we both have audio. So if Eliza isn't coming through as strong, Charles will. So he'll tell me things like what political party he was from. One night I got October twice. And I was like, what the hell does that mean? Like if something comes up twice, that means something's prominent. He died in October and he was born in October. So it's kind of like, okay, I'll get the 2 times. But I just got the word voter, like automatically. Like, quit talking to my wife, I want you to talk to me.
Yeah.
But he only drops hints. He won't always tell me something direct. He wants to just get that recognition. So it's never anything like, hey, Charles, tell me how many kids you had. And he'll tell me, Republican, or whatever it is he wants to tell me. It's kind of like, all right, dude, we get it. You're here, And again, he's listening right now if he's here, which I'm sure he is. That's the word dance twice. We got the word dance on the way over here. At least I think we did. Maybe not. I could have swore I seen the word dance earlier. I did. It was actually at the very beginning. So that's dance twice, which is weird. I don't normally get double terms, so we'll see what actually comes up out of that.
Cool.
Whereas the other spirit box is by me, so I try to keep things separate so that way. Exactly. Did something just fall?
I think I stepped on something that made a
Okay.
noise. Like a shell.
Shit does fall out of the sky.
Kata,
Yeah.
this used to be a mansion.
Something, yeah.
Oh my god, that's actually a person. You scared the shit out of me.
Me? Oh, hi.
Yeah.
That's a person.
Sorry.
We thought you wanted those. It scared the crap out of me. Oh my god.
Again, I'll be in jail. The lasers in Charleston.
There's the guy there that scared the crap out of me.
Oh.
And there was
On
on
the
the floor.
Yeah, they've been actually booting them guys out of here.
Yeah.
We had a problem with folks inside because they had a trailer back here and the dumpster was in a different spot, so they were sleeping in between them. And they've been running them out of the front, but I didn't realize there was somebody up there.
I
We didn't
know.
either.
I didn't know until you said something, and then I said hello, and he said hello. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so he's just kind of let's let Eliza know so she's not wandering up there by herself.
What are the names of your children?
Hey, Cindy, let's stay away from that front step. There's somebody
person
sleeping up there.
Somebody's.
So
Yeah.
let's just kind of
I didn't even see.
yeah.
We didn't know.
Well, you probably spotted him on the camera because of his
No.
heat signature.
It didn't. I mean, but I don't think I got close enough.
Like the white?
But you
Yeah.
two were the first that told me, and I was like, oh, and then I said hello, and I heard hello.
Carlos had it.
The lasers on. Was he like, oh my god, there's something here? Oh my goodness.
Now, what is that smoke?
Me.
Oh, okay.
That's me.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I separate from you guys and kind of go off in my little
Got
direction,
you.
it's
Got
another reason for me to be able to take a hit or two.
I got you.
Okay. I didn't really get any thermal things.
Okay.
No.
Are you getting anything out of that at all?
No.
All right, so let's
No.
turn mine up, and now that we're all back here, I didn't mean to bite your head off over there. I didn't realize somebody was sleeping up there.
I know, it scared the crap out of me.
So we're gonna turn mine up and kind of show you guys how I do. Like, do we have a little bit of spike at least?
We did at one point. I was trying to get my phone away from it so it wouldn't pick up the
Sure.
magnetic field.
Right. Well, phone would be like right on top of it. I think even my vape will give it a little flip. Yeah. So it's gonna give it a little bit of a signal. So if I turn it to hold it, it'll take it up. See how it went at the orange? I mean, even this small device is gonna be that sensitive to that. So my phone would literally give it a good. It's staying on orange. 'Cause it's
Okay,
on.
this is maybe a weird question, but okay, so with Eliza answer, would her voice sound female or male or either?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
So the easiest way to think of that device is that it's Bumblebee from Transformers. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah.
Remember how Bumblebee talked?
Like, yeah.
Through the radio.
Yeah.
He didn't
Okay,
care what
so it would
voice
just be
was.
anything.
Could have been John Wayne. He didn't care.
Okay. So that kind of helps because I hear men and women's voices
Right.
on here, but
So-
it would sound more.
What I was telling Catherine was at times when Eliza doesn't feel like talking, or if she's just not strong enough to muster up the energy to give us any communication, I will get other words that wrap around Charles. So immediately when I broke away from you guys, I got the word voter, which voter isn't really obviously an Eliza term because Charles was in the political parties, and he was a big hotshot for South Carolina. So that makes more sense, like he would actually come up that way. I haven't had anything else that relates to him, but a lot of times he just doesn't want to answer our questions. He just wants to say, hey, you need to recognize me too. And he just wants to keep shooting out words about him.
Okay.
And it might not be answers to our questions. But I'm going to turn mine up, so let's keep yours down for a second, just so you guys can kind of get a gist of, I think, get the word encounter. So Eliza, if you're here, can you give us what your name is? We just need to hear your first name. Eliza, give us your first name. Okay, Eliza, I see kind of near the box with the lights. Maybe you could tell us what happened to the house. Is that a little easier? Fire. Thank you. So this is a point where you'll rewind by 5 seconds. I heard the word fire. Eliza, where did the fire happen? In the city. I know. Can you tell me what floor it happened on? What floor of the house? Did you hear something?
Yeah, I didn't hear what he said.
Eliza, which floor of the house did the fire happen? There's something faint in there. Okay, Eliza, you were up to red on that little box. Let's try something else. Eliza, tell me the name of your daughter. What was your daughter's name?
Eliza, did you ever murder someone?
Oh, Lord.
That's those pissed off questions I was talking about earlier, man.
Trying to get a little buzz activity.
Don't piss her off, and then everything stops.
She'll come back here.
Yeah, on my next tour. You guys won't miss out. You guys are gonna miss out. Alright, so we obviously got a few things that you got some markers to check up on. I do want to move us along just for time purposes.
Did she tell you what floor before another time?
A lot of times she'll just say upstairs, which it was on the second floor. So the answers to the questions I gave you guys earlier, she died of breast cancer at the age of 70 in Philadelphia, and that's also where she's buried. So she was up there on business, and that's where she stayed. Charles is buried here. Her maiden name is Lucas, so Charles Lucas Pinckney. Daughter's name was Harriet. Harriet is a lot to muster, so when we have something like red, I'm thinking there's a lot of energy being built up. Give me something. That's a 3-syllable word. That's a lot to handle.
Okay.
So again, when I get phrases out of the other spirit box, it's kind of like, okay, that's a natural wonder, because all they have to do is make it stop for a split second longer to get the whole phrase out.
Yeah.
You know, just, I get excited about certain things. I get excited about fire. I get excited about when she tells me upstairs. You know, she tells me the number 70 and I don't know what it means. And then one night, randomly, she just said 22. So we're all out here Googling, what the heck's number 22 with Eliza Pinckney? Well,
She was
she
born in
December 22nd, and she got married at the age of 22. So again, I don't get numbers unless they're very specific. It makes sense whenever we hear numbers. Because earlier, Did you hear anything at all?
I mean, it was hard to tell because of all the other stuff that was happening, but I don't think so here. No.
Okay. So I was asking, a question for me is how many people are with me? So the number would be 5. So I was listening for the number 5, but it could have came up anywhere.
Okay.
So again, it's just one of those things that I
Yeah,
look
no, I didn't hear that.
So we're actually, I normally go down those steps, but I'm going to take you guys around the wall.
Okay.
Just to kind of stay away from the homeless guy. And then we're going to walk up about 4 blocks. It's going to be one of those busier areas where masks are up to you guys, but I will highly recommend. Mine will be hanging from my ear. And Mom asked about the smoke that was blowing earlier. That was me. Don't get excited if you see a little cloud thing going by.
The very first place, I was like, "There's smoke. What is that?"
I don't do it for effect. I promise.
I know. I heard her say that. And I was like, yeah, he just took a.
Yeah, it's a little guy. It's not
I was
me
like,
trying
"Oh,
to.
that's just like a vape
okay, she's
thing."
gonna turn. Let me make sure I get a good cloud. You know. All right, so let's take it.
Bye, Liza.
The
And
EMF,
Charles.
Mason,
And
just so you know.
Charles. Bye,
that-
Charles.
That will go off like crazy because of parking meters on each road. Again, they don't mind doing
Makes sense. Yeah, that's what I was kind of trying to keep my phone away. And
that. Yep.
I know. Things all over the place.
My mother-in-law makes all my masks for me.
Oh, nice.
These are new ones, so I haven't like adjusted the ear loops.
Yes, it takes quite getting used to.
At first, I couldn't wear them at all.
I
I was
know.
gagging.
Yeah.
Like, real bad.
I can imagine with that condition, like, I just have a bit of claustrophobia, and so when I first was wearing them, I was like, oh, I cannot. But I've gotten used to it now, and these little, like, scarf things are very comfortable, so I
For
can
me,
do
if
it.
it's anything below the chin,
Yeah.
that feeling on my neck was making me gag like
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh.
So she actually made me like almost like a child size
Yeah.
mask. So I'm like, okay, I can deal with that.
Nice.
Got the whole group. Nobody's turning.
And down there, if you ever come down here again, a lot of people forget about those spaces
Oh, yeah.
down there.
We got out and we parked at actual 5 Church Street. We're like,
This is not a restaurant. It's like a
I was
beautiful
like, wow,
place.
There's so many parking spots available. That's crazy on the front end. And I was like, oh.
I
It wasn't even
love,
a mile- it wasn't even a mile away.
absolutely love Church Street though, like
Yeah.
where the houses are.
They're so nice.
So beautiful. What is that? What is all that about? Bird chirping.
I don't know. It's not like
Nature.
I think he had live birds.
a
in
lot,
there.
Oh,
a lot
wow.
of birds in there.
The back door was actually
Multiple-
open. I
yes.
was waiting
So
for one
weird.
kennel.
I was too.
So the Market Pavilion, they shut down.
What's that?
Market Pavilion. Yeah. On demand, and then it changed real quick.
Yeah, that's what I have.
My friend Lynn, who was Rosie's friend,
You got your earring cord?
Lunch is almost all day.
Not ghostly. Oh. I feel like cold air.
Do you see any imagery?
Well, it's coming out of these vents.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Different chains for different.
What alley is this? Lodge.
Lodge alley.
We'll get into that further further down.
This is where you have to be careful. What is that music? It's kind of creepy, isn't it?
After just hearing it like 30 minutes before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I told it like flat out, like I knew it before.
Yeah, it's obviously the darkest story that I can.
Tell us. We need to go to the old jail and take a tour there. That's supposed to be the most haunted place. Yeah.
Old jail.
Uh-huh.
Once you get
Yeah.
over that hump,
It's around here. Yeah,
it's the new normal.
Apparently it's like really
I
super
started doing this before.
haunted and creepy, and people have lots of experiences there.
Oh my
It's like, I can't do it. I can't do retail. Just can't. Just done. So, wife says, what are you going to do? Sorry.
Yes, no
Oh,
problem.
you're good. So, welcome to Lodge Alley, everybody. This is one of the oldest streets in Charleston. I will tell you, it was interesting because I have the full list of names of everybody that's ever lived on this street. One of the names I commonly get showed up as we first walked in. So I was kind of excited about that. I was going to ask you to listen to your spirit box on the way here, but you guys were chatting, so I didn't interrupt. But it's okay, it's recording. The name I'm listening for is Benjamin and John. A lot of times they come up together because they both lived here in 1801. So, people used to live here. Obviously, these two buildings were not here, so forth and so on. This is also where the Masons used to be. So not just our Mason, the Masons in general. So they used to meet down here before this was residence. So what's behind this is, well, behind me is the Lodge Alley Inn. It has its own ghosts, but none of it relates to actual history, anything that I can prove. So until they start giving me free nights, I'm not going to start supporting their ghosts. So, that goes with every hotel in Charleston. Not one of them wants to give me a free night to prove what's going on inside their buildings. So that name Benjamin, like I said, did pop up. You guys are walking on the original clay bricks. So I mean, it's pretty rocky down here. How did you guys do in them heels?
Well, see, those are flat.
A+ so far.
Yeah,
Knock on wood.
They learned the hard way first before we actually moved down here.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. So I wanted to ask you too, which firm are you with?
Berkshire Hathaway.
Okay. Which branch are you
We're in Mount Pleasant, right off Ben Sawyer.
at? So I took my stab at real estate. I was horrible at it because my heart wasn't in it. I just did not wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
Obviously, my passion is here.
Yeah.
I was with Keller Williams.
Okay,
I actually
cool.
had a friend of mine that went to Berkshire Hathaway, Caleb Varnadu.
Okay.
I don't know which one. I want to say he's out in Goose Creek, though.
Oh,
Does that
okay.
make sense? Do you guys have a branch out in Goose Creek?
You know, I don't know if we have one in Goose Creek, but we do have one downtown and then the Mount Pleasant branch because there are a lot of people that commute. Well, not a lot, but a handful of people that commute from further out to our office.
Well, he's a professional photographer. By
Okay,
nature,
cool.
like real estate was going to be his side hustle.
Uh-huh.
Because that way he wouldn't actually have to hire a photographer for their homes.
Yeah.
But he travels a lot. Like he gets called by Discovery Channel. He gets called from Nabisco. They need him over there. You know,
cool.
I think he's in Colorado right now. Like he's all over. And he and I were at Keller Williams together. And then he got out about the same time I did.
Uh-huh.
After we were just like, yeah, this sucks. We're not making any money at all.
Yeah, it's
So,
not easy.
No, it wasn't easy at all. Especially not being from here or being here a very long period of time.
Right.
I didn't have that circle of friends.
Of
started.
course, yeah.
But anyway, again, my heart wasn't in it. It was more of a panic button. Like
Yeah.
One of those kind of things. And
Everybody thinks it's easy.
Yeah.
I mean, well, not everyone. but a
I
lot
knew it
of
wasn't
people-
going to be easy.
A lot of people think, hey, I can jump in. And,
I thought
Oh,
my
the market's
personality,
great. I
because
can do
again,
it.
Retail management for over 20 years, I was like, I know people.
Yeah.
If anything, I know how to talk to people and get to know them. Like that's the key thing is listening to folks and getting to know what they actually need. And that was something that I just was not grasping in that world. It just was not. It just didn't work out for me. at all.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, obviously, I'm in my niche now. As you guys can see, I'm a pretty happy guy.
Well, that's
Yeah,
wonderful. Yeah.
so- and I'm so glad. I mean, don't get me wrong. I probably could, if I would have stuck at it, make more money. But money's not always the answer.
Oh,
as
it's
you guys all
not.
know.
Yeah, yeah.
So, again, this is where I'm the happiest. You know, telling stories, writing books, going to school, continuing to learn. But anyway,
There we go.
back to the history of this place. I have caught shadow people here. I do collect weird orbs in here. Now, if those gentlemen weren't standing down there, I would have asked you to take some pictures before we all entered. But by all means, if you want to capture some pictures this way, that way we can actually see if those, like I told you, like those weird colored balls will show up in the pictures. I catch them all the time down here. Now, I used to tell stories about when I first started investigating with the psychic. I'm not going to stop you to take pictures of it. But there's been so much activity down here, I got to know more about the history, the clay bricks we're walking on, the list of residents, and I have their occupations as well, which is really cool and features to have. They actually consider these people low class, and you kind of picture the waters that way. Peninsula was skinnier, that outside junk wasn't there, so low tide, this wouldn't have been a very pleasant place to live at all. They found some of their silverware when they did the dig. They found some of their tools and a little bit of their clothing, so they were able to classify these people as lower class. There's not a whole lot of news that comes out of this place. There was a few arguments that landed, a few people in jail for a night or two, but nothing drastic where it was a big happening,
Yeah.
dark
Benjamin
place.
and what was the other name you said?
John.
John.
So, we are going to walk, obviously, through the rest of the alley, and we're going to cut across the street. Now, when we get to the end of the alley, it is going to be residential, so no lasers whatsoever.
Okay.
Obviously, if you want to continue listening, the EMF, if you get anything down this alley, it'll be exciting because I normally don't get anything. It's usually at the very top by Magnolias only, and that's obvious from Magnolias. So again, I'm not going to get excited about that. But we'll kind of see what actually happens on our way there, and we're going to go check out another alley, which I'm sure the two of you will be pretty familiar with once we get up there. So,
Awesome.
but we will get, it's actually it's pretty empty for me the entire time. Like just here, down here.
Everybody's migratory.
Benjamin, are you here?
Yeah. Even last night.
Benjamin, are you here?
That's a great picture spot for you to do at the same time.
This tree is beautiful.
Huh?
This tree is beautiful. I love these little hidden alleys.
I know.
Yeah.
They're so cool.
Hey, Benjamin, are you here?
It's amazing how old these stones are.
I know, isn't it so crazy?
Yeah.
Back into that lot.
Tiger Club. Always the spot.
Oh yeah.
That dog looks like a deer. He said the dog. He looks like a deer. He's so big.
No.
Fine.
He's a big mush.
He's too friendly. He's too friendly.
We love
He's
dogs.
a King Corso. They're in the Madison family.
Baby.
Well, like he's too friendly, so that's why I just want to make that all right.
You be so right. We love dogs.
We're all puppy lovers.
We love dogs.
Yeah, he's not. You know, he's cool.
Hi.
Some people get scared.
Fine size at that point.
When we first came around the corner, I was like, is that a deer?
And I was like, I always tell him, I was like, I know people that are like scared of dogs.
Yeah.
And like they're scared of like my little like 30-pound dog. I was like, if that thing comes walking up to them, they're gonna be fucking terrified.
Yes.
So that's why I'm just like, I remember something.
He's
I
fine.
know people that run charging up to people, and they're like,
My neighbors that I have
You know, he's a big baby, but
she's
people
scared
don't
of
know that.
dogs. Like the husband is fine, but she's like
Baby
legit scared
dog.
of dogs. And I tried to tell her so much.
I know we love you. We love you. He's a sweet baby.
She's not even a
Give me high five.
anything like that.
Can you give me high five?
But I just know like, when I think of her and like that coming up to her, oh my
oh
God.
no, we're all good.
He's so soft.
I was gonna open up that gate. Yeah, you good?
Are you doing
Okay.
Yes. We're doing a ghost tour, ghost hunt.
Enjoy. Hope you find
Thanks. Have a good night.
You. Bye, baby. Bye, darling. Give me a kiss.
You too.
Wow, this is so pretty.
Godsend for me. Actually, normally I tell that story on the other side because this is so popular. We're gonna probably get into it quite a few times. This is probably one of the most busiest alleys and ghost stops for all the other ghost tours. So,
What's that called?
this is Philadelphia Alley.
Yeah, Catherine used to bring me back here.
So we have one more location after this, just so you guys know where we're kind of standing on things. This used to be called Dueler's Alley. Every other ghost tour is going to give you a 15-minute dramatic whatever. I'm going to give it to you in about 4 minutes because you only need to know what to listen for and all of your devices and what to watch for. So when it was Dueler's Alley, there was a
Would you say
Duelers.
No.
Like
Dueler.
take
Remember
Let
they
me-
used to do
Now, this
duels?
might not be anything, but when I take pictures down this alley, it's normal. When I take this, all these little red dots show up.
it's because there's people down there and it's probably trying to place where the faces are, so it's looking for an object to
But
focus
It
on.
didn't do it with those people.
They're too far away, maybe.
No, they're probably about the same distance at this point. So that's an interesting point.
Yeah, come and watch.
That's it. Yep.
See it?
So when I look through the photos on the camera, it'll tell me face detections.
Okay.
So it'll tell me how many faces it actually sees. So again, we're gonna get interrupted from these
Okay.
guys coming down here. And again, they're not really friendly with me. But anyway, so the Dueler Alley story is when Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd moved down here, and he came down from Rhode Island. He was supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her deceased parents. The lawyer handling the money said, you two aren't getting married, go somewhere else. He sent the doctor away. So the doctor came in Charleston. I'm sorry, I think they're actually listening to this, which is funny. I'm trying to figure out why I'm taking off. So anyway, excuse us.
Excuse me.
So, the doctor comes down to Charleston. The coachman that brings him into town, the coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. Not a very good start to his stay in Charleston.
Wow.
Yeah. So, somebody walking by named Ralph Isaacs says, let me take you somewhere else, somewhere safe. Takes him over to 59 Church Street, which is about 1.5 miles from here. So, it's important later. It's the only reason I gave you that data. So, The two become friends. However, the doctor's practice starts moving up. So he's moving up in society. So the two used to go see plays together, and Ralph is just a regular Charlestonian. He's an attorney, and back then, attorneys weren't what we know of them now. So they're just going to plays. They sit in different seats. One night they go see Richard III, and on their way home, they start talking about the play. The doctor loved the new actress in town. Ralph did not. It turns into an insult party on the doctor's fiance back home in Rhode Island. The two get mad at each other, go their separate ways. Ralph, being Charlestonian, writes in the newspaper what a disgrace the doctor is to the city of Charleston. He's not from here, he takes all our money, he charges too much, yada yada yada. The doctor rebuttals with, let's go to Dueler's Alley and settle this. So the loser of a duel is normally what?
Dead.
Right. So the loser would normally go, there's actually a doorway in this wall right over here where they would go through the courtyard of St. Philip's. They would drop the body in the St. Philip's Cemetery where the grave was already dug, throw some dirt on him, and then go celebrate the winner with a pint. That's kind of how it went.
How many people would come? Like a lot?
I would say probably half the town would be here. I mean, it was in the paper. Kind of like...
Right.
I'll be end up at Blind Tiger after that.
Right? So, with music at no less. So, they come down here, they take their 20 paces, they turn, the doctor points his gun in the air, and he shoots. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to make a point. However, Ralph takes 2 shots below the knees. The doctor drops to the ground, his friends pick him up, they carry him to 59 Church Street, and he dies 10 days later.
From leg wounds?
Yeah,
Wow.
and he's a doctor.
Oh my
The
God.
irony. So here's what actually happens with us as ghost hunters down here. The doctor, when his practice was moving up in society, he became known as the whistling doctor. You can actually Google that, and you'll get the very long version of the story. However, they say you can hear the whistles as you walk by through the alley. It's very quiet back here, as you can tell. We're 2 blocks away from East Bay Street. It's normally this quiet, even in the daytime. So I'm sure, have you guys been down here before?
Yeah.
Yeah, most
In the
most of them,
daytime.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even during the daytime, to me, it's this quiet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So-
I love it. I love this. This is my favorite little
Really?
secret alley.
Yeah, this is the most beautiful place in Charleston. I tell this to all my tourists. So take as many pictures as you want, as long as there's nobody down here. So they say you can hear his whistles. Now, a lot of the Charlestonians around here today know the story. So when they walk by the alley on either side, they give you. So now I just gave you a point on the audio that's a fake. It's too loud. It's going to be real faint. Turn your audio up, especially if you're listening in the car with headphones. That way you can hear the real faint whistle in the background. Caught it twice. That I couldn't debunk. Every other time I could debunk it with jokesters nearby. They also say you can hear the gunshots. I haven't caught any gunshots yet, but don't take this tour on the 4th of July. I am not going to even listen to that part of your audio. With all the fireworks going off and listening for... No, not going to do it.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I have gotten Ralph that comes through quite a bit here. I do get the initials RI all the time, which could be Rhode Island or Ralph Isaacs. So something else about this alley you guys may not have known. The bricks that we're standing on right now, these were replaced and repaired in the 1990s. They're going to get older as we move along to the end. There are sun-dried bricks from slave kids at the end, with their fingerprints and with one full handprint at the very end. I do point it out, it is next to somebody's house. So a couple things there. We're going to keep moving as I pointed out. Just because it's somebody's house, not about to be disrespectful. The second thing is absolutely no lasers past, I'd say, the second light down there on the left. And as far as spirit boxes, kind of the same thing. You want to keep it just audible to you, just because, again, this is somebody's home. Their address is Philadelphia Alley. Do me a favor, keep the spirit box off until I'm past these guys. They are scouting what I do.
They're what?
They're scouting at what I do.
Okay.
So,
Hoochers.
yep.
Haters. We call them haters.
Well, they're the big dog in town. They want to know what I'm going on to. Yeah. So, I'm just sad that I don't have one of my Stories in the Cemetery shirts on and only my hat. So,
Can you see the door that you were talking about?
oh, yeah. That's what
Oh, I see.
So the gate wasn't here. The gate's not original, but the doorway is. So again, if they were taken right through the courtyard, made a left over to the cemetery, dropped them in. That's kind of how it went. Interesting, right? Nobody ever talks about this gate either.
Yeah. We made a couple. We lived in
Look through here. Oh, take a picture.
Mason, look at that.
Vanderhorst.
We would walk. We'd go to Blind Tiger they had half off bottle of wine on Tuesday, and we'd walk all the way from triathlon type thing. It's good. Never gained
I was
any
gonna
weight.
get a little closer.
Sure.
But we cut through here.
Yeah.
On those nights and all that.
But yeah, I found this little trick right here. So it's working
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
I just started doing that like 2 months ago. I've been doing this all year, and I would take it all the way around and come down, and I have to dodge all the other ones. And I started telling the story out there. It's like now I can make my times and
Sure.
get everybody back, you know, so I can get to my other tours.
Yeah.
So it actually works out really well. All right.
Well,
Let's take a walk
I
down
guess
this alley and see
we'd
what's
only
going
been
on.
on the other side of that, right?
The cemetery?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd only been on.
This thing, quality of
What is he talking about? This thing will crawl into your room?
I don't know.
I heard him say that. Look at this thing. What is this? Can you take a picture of that?
That tells you about Philadelphia Alley.
And then you can see the church. See if I can capture that. Wow, see? There's a big red arc up there. Yeah.
Ralph, are you here? Did you really shoot your gun in the air?
Have y'all seen Hamilton?
Not yet.
Hamilton?
You have to
We just
see
saw
it.
Wicked.
Is it good?
It's so good. Oh my god. But that they duel, you know.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Which one did this?
That's why people wanted those kind of policies.
Yeah.
But I got to go see it in Charlotte. Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, we were supposed to take a mom for Wicked from the birthday shop.
Just stepping on some of the fingerprints. I don't know if anybody's ever pointed those out to you guys.
No. I mean, honestly.
These are the older stones.
Yeah.
They're starting to
so
hit the older
cool.
stones here.
Oh, and look at the line.
There's a lot more.
Yeah. Never. Yes. Yeah, like I said, it's not like a park, full apartment. It's a competition. Meet their apartment.
Yeah. There's a couple of them. There are 4 handprints right up here. I'll let you guys check that out.
Wow.
I just got the word mitten.
Mint?
Mitten.
Mitten.
Like a glove mitten.
Like handprint?
Interesting.
Yeah, very.
Oh, for wait, no, Mom. Somebody want to show Mom the handprint?
For whatever reason, didn't never look at that.
And those are only in 3 spots in Charleston. There's a Drayton Hall.
So cool.
There's a Post and Courier article. You just Google handprint Charleston, it tells you exactly where they are.
When I go, yes, we're walking. Hi, good, how are you? Good. I have to say, we had lunch today. You're right. She's got the money. Here's my wallet, too. No, try again. Did you hear me?
Yeah, you did. We don't care about you. We're looking for ghosts.
I go, no, try again.
Alright, we're gonna stop here at this corner. I'll grab you guys around this stage. I'll take the spotlight for one last building. Alright, so did everybody see that giant group that walked past us?
Yeah.
I keep my groups to 10. So do you think all them people can hear that tour guide?
No.
Probably not. Nor are they interacting.
And the
Right.
girl was like, "Is she videoing us?"
I thought they were like a bachelorette.
I did too.
All right, so one last building. We got the brick building that's catty cornered from you guys. That is the Wagner building. It used to be part of our cotton industry. So the back of it was a cotton warehouse. The offices were in the front. It's condos now, and a wedding reception area in the front. At least it's being constructed as one. So I don't know what they're going to be charging for that rooftop waterfront. I don't know what the dynamic is here. If anybody needs to get hitched, but if you got 50 to 75K, go right ahead. Have a good time. So the story here is George Poirier was the last person who had this as a cotton warehouse. He inherited the business from his dad, silver spoon kid, no clue what he was doing, got himself into a bunch of debts, blew through his inheritance. He's up a creek. Like, he's got to get out of the business. Then the boll weevil moves into town, a bug that eats cotton. So now he can't sell his cotton crops to Americans. He's got American debts and can't pay them back with his own crops. So he sells off to the British. So again, Charleston Skinnier, that's the Vendu and Pineapple Park right across the street from it, so you guys have a reference of where you guys are. That wasn't there. He can watch that British ship roll up. They unload back here from the garage doors that you guys see with horse and buggy, load up the ship. Somebody gets too close with a pipe. The boat catches fire. Everybody dies. George watches the whole thing from the second story window.
Oh my God.
Craziness, right? So he's already depressed because his dad's gone. He can't pay off his American debts. And his father's legacy is now gone. It just went up in flames. So what's he do? He piles up all the furniture, puts a captain's chair on top, climbs it, swings a noose, and hangs himself. They say it was the newspaper kid that caught him the next morning. He came down to the corner to sell his papes, and he had to run back to the newspaper to go tell them what had happened. They say you can see the shadow of a swinging corpse from the second story window. So it's in the front. This is the back. Okay, so here's what we're going to do.
His name's George.
George. We got another ghost that kind of tags along. She's Zoe from Coogan's Porch, 2 blocks away
Is
from
that the
Philadelphia.
dog or?
Coogan is the dog.
Okay. Remember?
So Coogan is the dog. Zoe was the previous owner. That was her home. She was a school teacher. She lived there with her sister Elizabeth. If you ask Zoe what her house looks like now, you get words like spoon, fork, table, eat. Again, restaurant is a lot to muster, 3 syllables. Look for those simpler terms. I never know who I'm getting. It could be George or Zoe. It could be neither. This place is hit or miss. But once we get to the front, we'll kind of determine what's going on and probably call it a night. What time we got anyway? Yeah, because it's already 8:40, and I still have to re-sanitize all the equipment for the next group. And I have to go back. Once we get to the front, we're like 5 minutes away. You guys should know where you're at.
Yeah.
But I have to go back and re-sanitize. So, nice slow sweeps on a second story floor from you. Keep listening to yours. EMF is going to go crazy at the front, obviously because of the parking meters. And absolutely no lasers, buddy. Sorry, you're out of the game. You lose.
Some pictures.
Game over. What about pictures?
Pictures, yes, from the front. Definitely, we want that second story. I don't care how dark they are.
George, are you here?
All right, let's do this.
George, are you here? George, you here? George, are you here?
That's a yes or no question.
Huh?
That's a yes or no question.
That's not okay?
Try to stay
Has to
away
be
from those.
something-
Yeah.
I heard you. I heard you. Zoe, what happened to your dog? Hey, Zoe, what happened to your dog?
These are condos.
Zoe, what happened to your house?
As long as you tell me where to go, then sure.
Is that the car right there? Are you sure it's the car though? Are you sure? Yeah, it is. Also, there's this piece of that almost kills me.
Well, not to mention, I don't know how you can carry it. Oh, I don't know.
You don't have faith?
The other guy is pretty big.
Southern and the one had to stabilize it, and so that whole.
But it didn't kill it.
It did not.
That would be good for a ghost story. Yes.
Anybody down south?
No, it was, you could tell it's all new.
Oh, there's this girl playing guitar and live music outside the outside window.
I don't think I could see anything in the window anyway because you said
Right,
that
so I'm looking for darker blues. So if something turns dark, darker than the blue you have now,
Yeah.
then they should move in unison as you kind of scan the whole second story. Okay, so I'll give you a few more minutes with that. So I'll collect your lasers and your EMF. And I'm going to get you guys my card. And that way you guys can kind of check out the website ahead of time before I text you guys in the morning. I usually have all of your data done by noon. So I'll go ahead and take that. It's because of the crosswalks.
Just glad I didn't break it. I set out with very low expectations on returning that in a good